Any questions now? Yes, please. Khoka Sahib.
Hazur, this is the month of Muharram. It has just started a few days back, and it has been the most tragic first few days in Islamic history. And I don't know how far you would like to have sectarian questions, you see, discussion. Sectarian things, you see.
I have been discouraging such questions.
Yes, sir.
Which speak on differences between Sunnis and Shias.
Yes, sir.
Because already quite some bad blood has flown in each direction, and the situation in Pakistan and many other Arab countries is very sensitive. Sometimes it becomes volatile. So we better abstain from speaking on these questions. Yes.
That's why I was very hesitant to ask this question, because I saw nobody coming up, you see. I thought perhaps I could ask it, you see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to start a debate? Okay, please come on. I don't follow what you mean, but you'll make yourself clear, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I've just returned from Canada, and Queen was visiting.
The Queen?
The Queen of England.
Yes.
And as well as Queen of the Commonwealth, the way she is called. She was visiting Canada. A service was held recently, most probably it was last Sunday, in Toronto. It was held basically under the Anglican bishop. But what he did was a very different thing than what would have imagined in an Anglican church. There were people who came belonging to different religions, not only just different Christian churches, but also they were representatives of Muslims. They were representatives of, I could see a Sikh also there. Most probably there were others also. And this service which was held, in this one, I had made two observations. This is from the television which I was watching.
Right.
One, that these people belonging to different religions assembled in a single church. The same way as we feel that mosque belongs to Allah, and whosoever would like to worship Allah should have permission to worship in a mosque. The second thing is, nowhere, even when the Christians were presenting some verses from the New Testament, and a rabbi mentioned a few verses from Torah, nowhere the divinity of Jesus Christ was mentioned. This is some sort of a situation where they are trying to, I'm looking at it from my own point of view. This was an attempt to find a common ground between various religions. Interestingly, the Anglican part of it was presented by Prince Philip. So I thought I should mention it, and of course we should try to get more information from our missionary in charge in Toronto, Mr. Shamis, and I would like Huzur to comment on it, if he so wishes.
No, it doesn't need any comment. It's quite self-explanatory.
It's opposite observation.
Exactly, that's right. Yes. Thank you. Any other, Dr. Majid Sahib, would you like to ask something? Yes.
Yes, sir. If I may, I understand that Surah Fatiha is the essential part of namaz and rak'ah. And we also are told that we should follow whatever our Imam or Imam Salat is doing at that time. If a person joins the prayer when Imam Salat has already recited Surah Fatiha and he is reciting a portion of Quran, should we recite?
No, I understand your question. The point is that whatever Imam has done has been understood as the doing of his followers as well. This is the general state of affairs. Otherwise, why don't you proceed a little further and join in the ruku instead of while he's reciting some other verses? What would be the position then? Would you try to say rapidly recite Surah Fatiha in ruku and also a few verses? Won't you? You can't, even if you tried. So obviously that rakat is completed. When you join the Imam while he is in ruku, there is no doubt about that rakat having been completed on your behalf as well. So everything the Imam does is automatically understood to have been performed by the muqtadis as well. While they are there, they have to follow. Otherwise, even if they think otherwise or do otherwise, their individual actions are nullified under the superimposed action of the Imam. Yes, please, Dar Sahib.
Hazur, has there ever been a research been made to trace the ancestors of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam in Persia? What I got in mind is that perhaps that might connect Hazur's family with Hazrat Zaid bin Haris physically also. Because we got
if that is your idea, why don't you hold that research? And in London, you have all the facilities of literary research, because the very best libraries of the world are situated in London. I think after the great Moscow library, the British Museum Library is one of the greatest. And many others. There are so many libraries here. So this is a good opportunity for you to make research. But if someone, for this particular research, I think Moscow is preferable, because all the wealth of knowledge of that region was collected over many centuries by the Russians in Moscow. And they are absolutely invaluable treasures of literary value. Literary treasures in Moscow. So if somebody learns Russian, and there are some whom I have advised to learn Russian. In England too, there are some students who wanted my advice, and I told them to learn Russian, take up Russian and specialize in this language. So what I mean to do is that when we have some good scholars ready, we should find some ways and means for them to go to study in Moscow, and while there they can hold many research works. They can pursue some research pursuits in which we are directly interested. This is one of those. I think this is a good idea. But anyway, by the time that happens, somebody here should take up this research work if he has spare time. Yes, please.
Hazur, in Quran Kareem it is said Maliki Yawmiddin, the master of the day of judgment, absolute master of the day of judgment, when nobody will share.
Exactly, yes.
And also said that Malikul Mulk, the Lord of the land. But we
Mulk
see
means?
Lord of the lands. Does it mean?
Mulk, well, it's a wider word than just land. Mulk is not land alone. Mulk means he is the political authority, you can say that.